Bonjour, c'est Tevi de French Speak. Thanks for watching. You've obviously clicked this video if you're a little bit curious or want to reinforce what you already know about le subjonctif. So in this video, I'm going to share 3 keys to use the subjonctif correctly. And if this is an intro to subjonctif for you, great. If it's a review, I'd love to hear some practice in the comments below. This is what key number 1 is that you're going to find the pronom relatif, relative pronoun que, meaning that, avant le subjonctif, before the subjunctive. Par exemple, you're going to have the start of a sentence, a que, and then the verb in the second part of the sentence will be conjugated in subjunctive. Now, in another video, I explained that subjunctive is a mood, and in that mood, we find 2 subjunctives that we use mostly, présent and passé. Just like we have in indicatif, which is another mood, présent and several passé, we have passé composé, imparfait, and futur, and other things. But in subjunctif, we're going to focus on présent, passé. And in this video, I'm only sharing examples of présent. So you can see when subjunctif is triggered. So after the que, you're going to see that the verbs in blue are all in subjonctif présent. Par exemple, il faut qu'elle soit là. It's necessary that she is there. Soit is the subjonctif présent of être, to be, so it would just translate as she is there. However, we're not using est, est, elle est là, we're using elle soit là, qu'elle soit là. Il faut qu'elle soit là. That is subjonctif. Je ne pense pas que tu comprennes. Easier one to spot, it's from the verb comprendre, but also conjugated in subjonctif présent. Normal présent, for you understand, would be tu comprends with a ds ending. Here it's tu comprennes, and that's présent du subjonctif, but it will still translate as just you understand. I don't think that you understand. Je ne pense pas que tu comprennes. And our final example is c'est surprenant que vous ayez 14 chats. It is surprising that you, ayez is subjunctive of have, so avoir in infinitive. It could be vous avez 14 chats. You have 14 cats. But when you use the subjectivity that subjunctive offers us, it's surprising that you have needs to be conjugated in subjunctive. And that's why for vous, avoir is a very irregular beast in all tenses, really. So unsurprisingly, it's going to be one of our irregular ones. But ayez is avoir in subjunctive. So you have c'est surprenant que vous ayez 14 chats. When the que is not there, you can simply use the infinitive. And sometimes it won't be an equivalent sentence. So here are similar sentences without the que, sans que. Remember to put an infinitive afterwards. Il faut être là. It's necessary to be there. Je ne pense pas comprendre. I don't think I'm understanding. C'est surprenant. It could also be intéressant. I nearly said that, but c'est surprenant d'avoir 14 chats. It is surprising to have 14 chats, 14 cats. So être, comprendre, avoir are just in plain infinitive. There's no que. That's key number 1. Key number 2 is l'utilisation de verbes introducteurs ou expressions subjectives. So the reason why subjunctive is triggered and needed in certain situations is that the introducing verb, i.e. the verb that comes before que, as we saw that structure, first part, que, second part has subjunctive. The verb in the first part, the primary part, the main clause, is un verbe introducteur, and it's introducing an idea of subjectivity. Or sometimes there's some set expressions that will trigger some subjectivity, and we will use this mood subjonctif either in présent or in passé. So there's a long list, and this is probably where the bulk of the work and the study needs to go for subjonctif, is to go through each one to start getting a feel for them, because it works very differently in English. So here are some of the categories that we will need to use subjonctif for. Un souhait, une volonté, une émotion ou un sentiment, un doute ou une possibilité. Voilà, that's the second key. And the third key, which is just as important as the others, is that il faut deux sujets. You need two different subjects. One subject in your first part, and after the que, there needs to be a second, un deuxième sujet. You can't have the same in both. Par exemple, je voudrais que vous sortiez. I would like that you leave, that you go out. Je in the first one and vous in the next one. And then this is our verb sortir in subjonctif présent. It looks very like normal présent, but this one is subjonctif présent. If it's normal présent, présent de l'indicatif, it's vous sortez. Here we have vous sortiez. So this becomes a bit of a challenge for listening to French because we need to be able to spot that little in there. Exemple numéro 2, il doute que je puisse parler le japonais. He doubts that I'm able to, that I can, from pouvoir. This is puisse, comes from pouvoir in subjonctif présent, speak Japanese. So we can see we have an il in the first part, que, and then the je is then conjugated in subjonctif. Troisième exemple, elle est contente qu'il fasse beau. She is happy that it is. Il fasse beau comes from the verb faire. Remember that to express weather or, whether it's hot, cold, sunshiny, rainy. A lot of these weather-related expressions are using il fait, F-A-I-T. That's the verb faire in présent. Now, il fait beau has become il fasse beau after the que because we're using the subjonctif. So we have elle in the first part, il in the second, and the verb faire here. Looks very irregular, like it is in many tenses. We get fasse, qu'il fasse beau. So if there's only one subject, seulement un sujet, you revert back to infinitif. Par exemple, je voudrais sortir. Infinitif. Il doute pouvoir parler le japonais. You can't bring in another subject after the que without triggering the subjonctif. Bravo. Alors, if you don't know me, bonjour, je suis Tevi et je veux vous aider. And I want to help you. A lot of people really struggle when it comes to subjonctif. They call it their ennemi juré. Mon ennemi juré means my sworn enemy, my arch enemy. So 3 little tips for you. Don't tackle the subjunctive too soon. If you have not come across the name yet, if you are low intermediate or in the beginner world, don't worry about this yet. It really is going to open up doors for more advanced communication, and you don't need to do that yet. You need to just be able to be transactional, have basic conversation about very obvious needs and wants, get to know people and things like that without being talking about feelings that other people might have or adding doubt and possibility in your sentences. There are ways to avoid the subjunctive for quite a while. So enjoy your journey. You will get there at one point. If you are interested in it, I would say that all the brain power and the time and efforts you will invest in learning subjonctif présent will make subjonctif passé so much easier, because it's not so much the conjugating of it that is challenging, but the usage of it, when to actually use it, when is it right to use it, and when it is wrong to use it. And that I'm a master at making complicated things in French into really simple rules. So find a way, whether you want to join us to learn about subjunctif, or if you're doing it yourself, to try and find ways to really simplify the rules that you encounter so that it's not overwhelming and so that it doesn't stay your arch nemesis forever. It is something that will elevate your French and that you can't really master advanced French without it. So I hope to see you soon. Au revoir. If it was helpful, tell me in the comments below.